Hey everybody, how's it going? Waiting for my stuff to go live. How's everyone doing? Um,
I'm doing all right.
I'm Chris. That's Joe, and over on the further side is Ryan. This is CR Game Room. How's everyone in the audience doing? Hit me up with how's it going in the chat. Um,
Going pretty good. Spent the afternoon doing some work and watching the MOD guys fumble around in their live matches this afternoon.
as
So
they
many
do,
fish.
as they do. Um,
Oh, the tiebreaker was hilarious. It just was just going sideways.
nice. Oh, okay, there we go. All right.
What happened?
Oh, it was just folly of errors. Misplay after misplay after misplay.
You know the usual.
So,
What's up,
yep.
The
Jocelyn?
huge. Hey, Jocelyn.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing about going live with playing a match. You never know what's gonna happen, and what interactions are gonna happen. I mean, they know their
Right.
teams ahead of time, but yeah.
I'm not even sure they knew some of their teams beforehand.
Hey, Mike.
What's up,
Yeah,
Mike?
they were like noting that they had missed a lot of stuff.
Yep. It was a sausage fest of a match.
So
Well,
many weenies.
yeah, it was a weenie match, so everything had to be 3 cost or less.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so I just started calling it a sausage fest,
I
since they kept going with weenies.
I thought you were referring to that it was only two males playing.
No, I mean yes, but
Well, the theme of the dice fight it was chosen by True Mr. Six
mhm.
over at Ministry of Dice, and he chose an all weenies event, meaning everything had a purchase cost of 3 or less. Everything.
All right, interesting. All right, cool. So this week we're going to be talking about a few things. Joe has an announcement to do in a little bit. We have the results from the first week, and just talking about Dice Masters. And Ryan may have a few things up his sleeve. He said he wants to add a few words later on. I don't know what he's talking about, but
Well, I mean, I keep hearing about this, announcement, and the MOD guys were talking about some sort of announcement here. I'm in the dark. I have no idea what's going on. Um, I did just see a pop-up notice that there's something on our website that just came up as well. So I may, while you guys are talking, I may jump over our site and read what's going on here, just so I have a clue what the f is going on, because I don't like being in the dark. So
that's not what your wife said. Oh wait, no.
you've been talking to her more than me, then apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the results so far. That happened in round one. So there's a lot of 2-0s. Let me see if I can switch over and show everyone. I don't have it set up. So, there's a lot of 2-0 matches. I'll just bring it down. Actually, where's our website? I have.
Yeah, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually an even split: 4 2-0s and 4 2-1s.
Okay.
So it was a dead split between that. So a good. I mean, that's a good turnout on that one.
Yeah.
We don't want to see everyone getting 2-0s, because that never looks fun for the quote unquote loser bracket,
Yeah.
at that point. Um, but no, so we've also already had one of the matchups. Actually, no, two of the matchups. One played. Michael unfortunately was not able to coordinate a time with his opponent before he's leaving on a camping trip with his family for this weekend. So he conceded his matchup to his opponent. So we appreciate Michael, giving us advanced knowledge on that one.
Yeah.
So we weren't waiting at the very end, trying to scramble on that one. So unfortunately, Michael did take a 2-0 loss against his opponent Jesco in round two. But best of luck to you, Michael, for the next rounds when you'll be back in full swing there.
Yeah. I do have the matchups on the screen right now. Just showing it.
Okay. And then the thing that I found interesting is the other match that we've had reported for round 2 was the match between the two people who beat the CR game room players in round 1. So we had Rob L and Super K have their match, and Rob L took that one 2-1 against Super K. So he's currently the one of the top ranked players in the tournament because of that. Again, only a handful in the round 2, so take that for the grain of salt.
Yeah, so that was the winners match from the CR game room, so to speak.
And then, oddly enough, both our own Journey and Rob are paired against each other for round 2. So we are working on scheduling that match out. We were trying to see if we could maybe get it as a live match between the two, but due to schedules and whatnot, we may not be able to make it as a live match. So we will definitely, at a minimum, no matter what it is, have that one streamed out for everyone between those guys.
By live, he means in person playing each other.
Yes,
but we've done it before, but it's just I don't think it's going to match up. So
yeah.
But here's all the other matches. You can go to CRGR Rocks, and you'll be able to see the bracket there. And you can also go to our Discord and see it there also. Let me see what else is on our website right now. Oh.
Shh, you're gonna ruin it. Shh.
All right.
Shh. It's a surprise. I put it on there for a reason. It's a surprise even to Ryan.
Well, and I'm seeing this now because I'm looking at the YouTube stream as Chris is flashing it on the screen.
Man,
and,
okay, too quick. All right, so
can't even keep a secret.
So, does anyone have any questions about the tournament so far? I think it's going really well. We got even the matches. There was one match that Jocelyn won 20-0, 20-0. That's the person just didn't roll. They didn't get their rolls, so that's what happened on that. But other than that, is everyone having fun? I hope they are. Hey, Mel, Jazzy
Hello.
Mel. What tournament? Shut up, Robert.
Well, the way he's been playing, it pretty much is an accurate statement.
Oh wow, savages.
What is tournament? How is tournament? All right.
I'll do you one better. Why is tournament?
Man.
Okay, so I guess since you spoiled it a little bit, since you gave everybody
let's cover this because
let's move on to this. So
right.
Let me know as soon as you got it pulled up.
I got it pulled up.
So, in honor of a certain someone's birthday, I think he's on his 520th year of being on this earth, somewhere around there. It's pretty ancient.
Walking the earth.
Yeah. We are celebrating with a birthday bash of sorts. We're going to have a weekend tournament. Now, the last weekend event was Phonats, and that was largely successful. And we want to kind of keep on that trend of where we have, well, I'm speaking for us as a channel. The reason why we shifted our format a little bit was to give everybody time to breathe in between rounds, as well as to kind of work out this ebb and flow of tournament play, and then maybe something casual, maybe something different in between each round of the 2-team takedown. So it just so happened that the timing was right for True Mr. 6, or Chris with the Ministry of Dice. His birthday, his family's going to be leaving him all by his lonesome. So rather than having him drinking limoncellos on his own, we'll just go ahead.
How long are they leaving him? Just for the weekend? Or, are they actually, did they get finally fed up with it?
I think he said something about papers in court, something like that.
Okay.
But they're going to be leaving him at least for that weekend. We can keep him some company by having a tournament. And what it is it's his choice, of course. It's Sophie's choice. So he's determined that he wants to have a single affiliation Golden Age tournament. So Chris, that you have the form up and everything?
Yep.
Or on the website?
I have the website pulled up with it.
Okay. So on our website, we now have the form which you're going to go to sign up for this event. Like I said, it's all happening on a Saturday. And so I'll just start with I'm going to read it off for everybody in case y'all don't want to go through the yada yadas of the form. I have it right here, and Chris has it on the screen. So Sierra Game Room and the Ministry of Dice are proud to bring you the biggest celebration of the year. I should have put quotations around that. Chris, True Mr. Six, is turning... never mind that. We are having a weekend tournament in honor of his birthday. This event will be a Golden Age single affiliation themed event, meaning each card in your core team must share the same affiliation symbol. Any action cards you use must be thematically linked to the affiliation you use. Now, they are also putting out a kind of breakdown similar to this on the Brit Roller 6 blog that they have. So if you don't find it on our side, maybe you were listeners to their podcast, they will also have it plugged in there in next week's episode. And they also have it on their blog, and it's set to go live right now, actually. So we timed it to where all the information would be available to those who listen to them more or listen to us more, whoever can access it from either side. So they're going to have the same thing. But the way he put it was on the thematically linked. So, for example, one of the examples was on your Avengers affiliation, you can have Mjolnir, but you can't have the Watchtower because that's not even remotely related to that IP or those that affiliation. So it's the same thing. You can't have Mjolnir on a team of Justice League. So moving on, if you have something that you think may or may not be thematically linked to the team as far as actions go, just give the MOD a shout. You can do so by visiting their blog, and they have contact us information, or you can hit them up on the Dice Masters Unlimited Discord, as well as our Discord if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to send you their way. So, second point is the villain affiliation itself is to be split by intellectual property. This means if you're playing villains, they must all be DC, Marvel, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you can't mix Shredder with Shriek, and you can't mix Shredder with Shriek, Dark Empathy, and you can't mix them with Lex Luthor either. All your villains have to come from Marvel. If you're gonna run something like Magneto, then you have to have...
but TMNT is in the DC universe because there's been the TMNT and Batman stuff, so...
That is a crossover.
I know,
so
it
doesn't count.
The Ever Troll Ryan?
Yeah. Don't try those tricks with me. So your basic action cards must also be from the same IP as your team as well. So if you're running an all Marvel affiliation team, then your basic action cards can come from a Marvel set. Now, this gives us a little bit of leeway because we have Villainous Pact in both DC and Marvel. So if you do have a Villainous Pact, as long as you're not running something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Affiliations or D&D affiliations or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle affiliations, you can use Villainous Pact.
Or Warhammer.
Or Warhammer, correct. And there's some Warhammer stuff that, like Static Field, that also crosses over with DC as well. So reprints, it's fine as long as they share the same IP. So there's several reprints that have been released within the last year and a half that cross over with older sets.
Now, do you have to have the one that's in that IP to put
that
it on
version?
your team?
So, True Mr. Six is all about style points, and so if you can match the aesthetic, do so. If not, it's fine. But he is grading each and every team, and he's looking over the team lists and submissions himself. He's looking for style points, and we'll get on to the why later on. So yes, you can do that, but it's recommended that you try to stay on theme as much as possible. So now we'll move on to the bands. So these are true Mr. Six bands. So he doesn't want anybody using Super Rare Yuan-Ti, Half-Elf Bard, the Master Lords Alliance, Rare Cosmic Cube, Imprisoned. These are the basic actions. Imprisoned, Swords of Revealing Light, and Relentless. Additionally, there's a little caveat. we will not be allowing Shriek Sonic Beam into this tournament because we're all civilized folk.
Uh,
In the words of True Mr. Six.
He's assuming too many things about everyone. We're all not civilized.
Well, in his words, which he has repeatedly said on stream and as well as in several of his posts, that he believes that only civilized or non-civilized people use Shriek.
Well, I like where this
he
is
and I
going.
may have to, agree to disagree in that one on what who is civilized and who's not. Because I vividly remember someone being part of a bringing back imprisoned joke, and no civilized person ever would joke about bringing imprisoned back. Yet you did, so therefore you can't be civilized. So,
Oh man.
Well, he picks and
Shucks.
chooses his civility of cards and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's how much limoncello he has in his system. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, there you go. So, additionally, we're gonna have. I don't want to necessarily call it Wheaton's Law, even though he's really big on that, and we all know how Will Wheaton is. I don't want to say anything bad about the guy, but I don't necessarily have to say anything good about him either. So I'm kind of neutral to him, but other people have stronger opinions. Basically, what we want to do is we want it to be in a competitive spirit, but we also want it to be fun. So we kind of want to tread the line there. So what we do want is for everybody to invite new and inexperienced players. Now they can be new to the online scene, but playing, since 2015, or they could just be brand spanking new. Invite anybody and everybody to this one weekend event, and you'll get a chance to see how creative people can be. And we need to make sure that it's a welcoming environment to the inexperienced players as well. What we don't want to see are teams that lock people out. Like, for example, we don't want to see any of the villain teams that have, like, the Brotherhood of Mutants, which has, I think, like 3 or 4 villains that can lock you out and force you to attack, like with Toad or Emma Frost. There's a lot of them that straight lock you out of the game if you put them all on the same team and you run them at the same time. You have them active at the same time. So, we want to discourage teams that may prove to be too negative a play experience. So he looped Beholder in there as well. So if you're happening to run the monster,
Monster affiliation.
The monster affiliation, then try to do so at your best, opportunity, not at your worst opportunity. So for me, Beholder is my favorite, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna jam a Beholder on my team and call it good. So lastly, the top prize will win the elusive Ministry of Dice wooden spoon. This will be awarded to what True Mr. Six deems to be the most creative, least spammy team of the event, win or lose. Wombo combos, lesser used affiliations, interesting win cons, and non-meta builds are the sort of thing to get you considered for the coveted wooden spoon. Lastly, this tournament begins at noon Central Standard Time, August 17th. If you need help looking up time zones, ours is going to be Central Standard Time. So that means the East Coast in the States will be beginning around 10 o'clock because they're 2 hours behind us. The West Coast will be 2 hours behind us, and then the East Coast will be 2 hours ahead of us. They'll be starting at 1. And then I believe that puts the start time at 7 or 8 o'clock for UK Europe time. So UK and Europe players will be having a sort of a late night, but it's a weekend. So hopefully there's a little bit of play with that time.
Yeah, I've got to try to figure a way to be there and play and not miss work because I have to work overtime that day. So.
Oh man.
I'll try to see if I can work overtime during the week. So we'll do that.
So, in addition, there's going to be 5 rounds of Swiss with a cut to top 4. So we're going to try to keep things a little bit, loose as far as our timing goes. But we don't want people in the Europe and UK to be staying up until like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. We want the event to be done relatively quickly, but we also want everybody to have a good time. So your team submission is going to be due on noon of August 16th, noon our time, Central Standard. So that puts it within a 24-hour period of the start time of the actual tournament. Also, there will be a channel made exclusively for this event, just like on the regular Discord, on the Dice Masters Online Discord. You have several channels dedicated to each online event space. So, for example, we have a channel for Weekly Dice Arena. We have a channel for the Dice Fight. And then we also have a channel for the Team of the Month. So, in addition, for a limited time, pretty much from tomorrow morning until Sunday after the event, so August 18th, that channel will be available. And that's actually how we're going to communicate. So we're going to communicate matchups. We're going to communicate wins and losses. And we're also going to communicate any issues that people might have with the logistics of the event. So there you have it. It's the true birthday bash.
All right. So are you finished before I start my rant?
I'm actually going to leave it to the audience for questions that they have.
All right. That's good.
Let's let them catch up. So Ryan, go ahead and go with your rant.
All right, so a couple of things. First off, Mr. Fantastic here. This is the second time you have collaborated with the MOD without involving myself, and I can't speak for the other guys from CRGR here, but specifically myself has been excluded from any type of collaborative knowledge that any of this is going on. You know?
We had a meeting and we left you out of it.
I figured as much. You know, I mean, I dropped all of my issues. I was hawking their raffles. I was pointing out people. This was, these guys are good. It's 2 years. Let's keep them going. And I'm still being treated like this. You know. And then I win the spoon in the raffle. I messaged Chris about not CRGR Chris, but MOD Chris. I messaged him about it, going, "Hey, cool, I just heard it. Thank you very much. Here's my address." Not a single message response. I don't even know if that thing's in the mail to me yet. And then I find out he's giving away yet another spoon. See, I think what this is going on is he goes, Ryan won this. Damn it, I can't have him part of this elite, but we can't not give it to him. So now we're just gonna spam the market with these damn spoons to make what was special to mean nothing. So now I didn't have it in me to try to come up with a team for any of the tournaments or whatnot right now. That's why I was staying back and organizing this event. But now I see I need to join this event just to try to win the spoon that I've already won.
So, in very famous words, if we're all special, then none of us are.
Exactly.
On that topic, when we were talking about it, the words, be sure to leave that no clout having Ryan out of this.
No, I want the spoon, Jocelyn. There's no question about that. I'm gonna have to see what I can come up with, and
Yes, that was from The Incredibles. But Ryan, if you win the second spoon, you have to eat pizza on the stream, or tacos, taco pizza with both spoons.
Not a problem.
Oh my god.
So first off, also let me address a point in the chat. I commented in the chat, but I think people are forgetting. Everyone's like, "Oh, Ryan hates tacos." No. I'm the one who loved tacos. Rob was the one who said pizza was better than tacos. I don't know why everyone's all of a sudden bashing on me for not liking tacos. I got 20 tacos downstairs right now waiting for me.
That's such a humble brag. That's weird.
Taco Bell or something?
No, I got my Trumpo tacos from my gas station down the street,
See, if it ain't Burger King tacos, I'm not impressed.
I didn't even know Burger King had effing tacos till you told me about these, monstrosities. These have got to be in the weirdest category, Jack in the Box category of tacos. If you've deep fried the taco after you made it, it is no longer a taco.
Hey man, it's a delicious taco. They just added better flavoring to it. Okay.
Side, just to get everybody caught up, there's going to be a birthday bash tournament, a one-day tournament, starting at noon Central Standard Time, August 17th. If you go to CRGR Rocks, you will see the sign up. So it'll take you straight to the form. You'll need to have 3 bits of information: of your email address, your name as a Discord, and then you'll need to submit your team list by using the team builder
Dice Coalition.
team at Dice Coalition, and then post that link into your answer, and then we should be good from there.
All right.
Okay, so I actually want to go back to, because we just had another match result in, and I wanted to make sure that to all the participants, if you are getting it recorded, make sure that whenever you're also telling us the results, if it was recorded, so that we know when to expect it or who to go to expect it, because we're all about promoting the community and we want as much exposure as we can, giggity. So we need to be able to see where these recorded or streamed matches are taking place, so we can send people there. So if you're putting it out on your own channel, we'd love to send people that way to see these matches.
Promote the hell out of it in our Discord. We're happy with that. So the more people see stuff, the better.
And if you don't have anybody set to record it, ask one of us on the channel. We'll try to be available that day to record it, and then we'll put it out on our channel.
All right. So what was that other match just submitted?
It looks like CCM won against M Brewer 2-1.
Right.
Yeah, it was Laurier versus Matt.
2-1. Putting that in now?
I just put it in.
All right. Well, I'll just back off then. All right.
Yep.
I'm sure Laurier recorded it, though.
If he did,
now,
he did.
Bodhi, there will be no tacos, but there will be a wooden spoon. Man, like, the innuendos, it's just been rolling since this afternoon, I swear.
Yeah. I thought it was... I'm not going to get into it.
You thought it was bad whenever we were talking about all that stuff in the chat, right?
No, the everyone giving each other a pat on the back and the...
oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't get it.
Well,
I missed all of that this morning. I came in after it was all...
I saw it and I was just like, okay, cool. I feel weird commenting about that kind of stuff because I think everyone does the best they can in the community, and I'm really happy with everyone doing everything they do. And I mean, we're just a very small part, and this community depends on everyone working forward, not just channels. So, I mean, not to say that the channels aren't doing anything, but channels are, because I mean, we're one of them. We're trying to put on tournaments and all that, but if it wasn't for everyone playing in the tournaments and people being generous with their time, nothing would happen. So,
all right.
Yep. So what I did want to say was, as far as the community is concerned, we had a tangent on Facebook. There seems to be a lot of...
You froze up. Or is it me that froze up? No. Hold on. You're a dice master. Hold on. I think I froze up or the thing froze up. Let me see. Hello? Is everyone there?
Okay, I'm still here.
Okay. Joe, are you there?
I think Joe got disconnected, so...
Okay.
He started talking about something, and then I lost everything. So.
All right, there, he's back. Yeah.
So where did I lose you guys at?
Well, on Facebook, that's it.
Okay, so on Facebook, everybody has these very strong opinions about disliking the WWE set that's coming out. Whether it's the aesthetic or the fact that they just don't follow wrestling, or that they just don't like that IP at all. Okay, that's fine. That's their right to do so. They can talk about it all they want, but it does promote this kind of negative viewing of what Dice Masters is trying to do. They're trying to cross promote all these different us don't have we don't have like a singular form or singular medium that we all like. We all like what we like, and it's different tastes for everybody. So Dice Masters isn't just going to appeal to the people who like Marvel or DC or even Yu-Gi-Oh or D&D for that matter. They're going to go out and they're going to go, okay, what IP can we get to make sure that we're getting as many people as possible?
Well,
That's
and to add to that, I mean, let's look at one thing here as well. WizKids also makes HeroClix. So if we look at the origins of HeroClix, started off as Marvel DC, and now one of the things, if you win the worlds of HeroClix, it's not that you get to pick a figure, you get to pick an IP that you would like added, and they will add an IP. So they have had some very weird and random IPs added for one-offs because of that. They've had a Lone Ranger one. They've had
Iron Maiden.
Well, I was getting to that one because
No.
that one is just cool as hell to me. That's my favorite band of all time. But I mean, they have these very weird and random offshoots, and now they're having a WWE one as well. Because of this tie-in that WizKids has with it. And as Joe was saying, whether you like the IP or not, there's still character abilities on there that are beneficial to you as a player. If you really don't like it, you can go, you know what, let's have a single IP only event, let's have a Marvel only, let's have a DC only, let's have a D&D only, a TMNT only, a Warhammer only, whatever, and just don't play with the WWE cards, and it's one of those, yeah, you may not like the IP. I don't care whether you like the IP or not. I don't care. You shouldn't care whether I like the IP or not.
Yeah.
It should all be about what are the cards and abilities adding to the game. And unless the IP is coming in and drastically changing the fundamental rules of the game, it shouldn't matter.
I was one of the first people that was like, this is dumb having a WWE set. But honestly, I think it's kind of cool now because WizKids is trying things. If you're playing a game and the company just puts stuff out and doesn't try to do anything else, that's what you should worry about. That's something that they're not doing. They're having new stuff come out. They're trying everything they can. They're just doing everything that they think would be good and everyone would be interested in. So if people don't like it, I'm sorry, but they're trying.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say that Dice Masters has continued strong in these IPs, so that's what they're going to do for the rest of their, production life. So, because that just doesn't, like you said, Chris, that kind of puts this really stale market out there, and when your market or your anything about what you're doing with your IPs gets stale, that's when you start losing customers. Because let's look at it. How many Marvel sets have we had? We've had 8 or 9 Marvel sets.
Yeah.
Including team packs. How many DC sets have we had? Well, we've had 6 or 7. Okay. When you add those up, that's not a lot. That's not a lot of sets. So if they continue with the trend of, okay, well, this year we're going to put out 2 Marvel sets and a DC set, how long before somebody goes, oh, another Spider-Man set, man? You know what? Count me out. I'm done. This used to be
How
cool.
many Black Widows do I need?
Yeah. And they can only do that so many times before people just go, okay, well, why are they printing this Black Widow whenever I have 12 sitting right here that I could be playing? So eventually you're going to need to progress, and that's part of the natural evolution of the market, to make sure that you maintain a successful IP and to make sure that you maintain a successful business model. Is you need to grow and you need to expand your market. It's never just going to be, oh, we're going to do this one thing and we're going to do it well, and that's how we're going to make money for the rest of our lives.
I don't think Dice Masters is going to get Transformers, unfortunately, Ryan.
No, I don't think so. They would, but come on, if we're asking for dreams and hopes, I'll put it out there.
I think there's more likely to be a GI Joe Dice Masters.
I mean, come on. The Transformers is the perfect use of the flip card mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Another thing I think would be kind of cool. I know it sounds stupid, and people will probably make fun of me for this, but I think a My Little Pony Dice Masters would be kind of interesting and funny and cool.
Now, see, that one I really seriously doubt they would do because there's already a collectible card game for My Little Pony that Hasbro has out. They're not going to want to compete with themselves in that market, you know.
But I also just think any kind of IP would be cool. I'm done with thinking only certain ones would be cool.
I just like the idea of Warhammer. I'm not a big Warhammer fan. I've tried playing it over the years. I've never enjoyed it, but I was one of the first ones to put the cash down and pre-order the set when it was coming out because I'm a fan of the game, and I knew that there were going to be abilities and stuff in those cards to make for fun and interesting teams. Not just meta teams, but just fun teams.
So getting back to the crux of, why this stuff started, why all this discussion, why all these hot button topics, since WWE, since the announcement for WWE set has come out, everybody has one opinion or another. It's really polarizing. That is actually a good thing. That is growth for the community. That is growth for the game. And that's a trending positive results. So that's the best foot forward, is to try new things. So we should as players who get this really wonky release schedule, who get these really wonky event times and event venues, we should learn to accept that there's a whole lot of things that we can't change, but when they do happen, more often than not, they're for the good of the game and for the good of our entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think getting hung up on sets is just kind of honestly stupid. Honestly.
If they were before, at the beginning of the year, we didn't know. Everything was up in the air. Like, we didn't know if we were going to continue to get stuff. We didn't know if we were going to stop getting stuff, or if it was going to be LCG for the rest of, the shelf life of Dice Masters in general. So it was just like, at that point, even us on stream, we were like speculating all these random things. I went on record and saying, hey, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine if we get 1 or 2 sets this year. I'm fine if we have a full 7.5 months, because that gives us time to fully explore all the stuff that we aren't able to whenever we're just sitting here and churning sets and just the next big thing. Here we come 3 months later, next big thing. All right, cool. Next big thing. That never gives us time to fully explore something that these people put their time and effort into to make sure that we're enjoying it.
I will say the biggest complaint I have with WizKids as far as their, release of the game is the release schedule. They will either give us way too much time in between, which is not bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. As you said, it allows us to really fully investigate those cards. But what they end up doing more often is the exact opposite, is they will, just shotgun out release after release after release, to where you have 3 or 4 releases in a 3-month period. They've done that before, that you end up with sets that you really, it's like, okay, you have this 1 or 2 key cards and you're on to the next set, and it's just, okay, you never truly got to enjoy that set in its full glory.
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is Deadpool. I don't think we got to enjoy that one that much. And also Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the biggest one for me. It was the first one out of that series of releases that, it just got overshadowed by all of the other sets that came out immediately after it.
X-Men First Class was immediately after it.
Yeah.
X-Men First Class, Thor, TOA, all of those came out just immediately. That Guardians of the Galaxy, other than your handful of super meta influencing stuff, got just discarded almost immediately until everything settled down and we had time to then go back and go, oh, I could really do some fun with these infiltrate stuff if I combined it with this. And you really started branching out months after it came out.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, just like you said, I don't think we need to be worried about which IP comes out. We need to be more worried about how we're getting our product and how quickly we're getting it.
Yep. Because that's a big problem. Like, to me, that's the problem that we need to worry about. We need to not so much hold their feet to the fire to make sure that we get product out, but if they're not talking about anything, it means there's nothing coming. And we need to have discussions about sets that are coming out, have everyone discuss it, because that's the only way to let them know that, yeah, we're still here. We're still a voice trying to tell you that we want to buy your product.
Well, and I mean, we've got plenty of product announced.
Yeah.
As far as future sets and whatnot, I have no fear for the future of the game in that regards. You know, again, the concern I have is, you know, they won't give us that release date till it's almost about to be released, and then things get pushed back, accelerated, and you get those pockets. For 3 months we're going to have 2 or 3 sets, then we're going to go 7 months with nothing, and then we're going to get another 2 or 3 sets in a month or two. That's what I wish they would work on more.
Yeah.
Is even those out. Make it to where we've got a consistent flow of new product coming out to where it's not going to be an issue, and there you go.
Yeah.
Rob, I agree. As much as some people hate WWE, I think it's going to bring in just as many people as it brought in Warhammer.
If not
maybe
more.
more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying more.
I actually I'm gonna say not so much more, because here in the U.S. Warhammer's not as big as it is over in Europe and UK and whatnot. We had an explosion over there that is hard for us to see here.
But here's the thing: WWE's big everywhere.
Yes and no. Its core is here in the U.S. and North America. It's got a following everywhere, but a lot of those guys, a lot of those followers aren't diehard fans that are going to buy up every product WWE comes out with, no matter what.
Okay.
They're followers of a particular wrestler or two, or things like that.
Yeah.
Here in the U.S., you can slap WWE on a product and it will guarantee a handful of sales. The same can't be said over in UK, over in Brazil, over in Germany, things like that. It's not, just because you put the name on it doesn't mean it's going to sell. Yeah, that's the next question is, will we get some advertising with it on
Most likely,
WWE promote it and advertise it on their shows?
They promote their toys, they promote their card games, they promote their Monopoly versions.
Right. And so that's the big, if they start doing that, we're going to see a huge increase initially. How many will we be able to retain is a whole nother category, a whole nother question. But yeah, if they push it and if they're getting those spots on USA and Fox and all those other, networks, then fantastic. Great. We're going to see some great stuff out of this. But they don't push every product that they put their name on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this might mean we have a whole lot of people that just want to play that one or start out playing that one set, and it's going to depend whether we retain them in this community by the way that us as individuals in this community treat them, and don't act like an elitist to anyone new just because you've been playing for a long time.
One thing that Ryan pointed out was the target audience for WWE is a lot younger than the target audience for Warhammer or D&D even. The target audience is 9 to 13-year-olds, mostly male, some female, right? So when you look at that, that's a much larger target audience than, say, a bunch of grown 25 to 40-year-old dads, because that's really where Dice Masters' niche is. They try to go for a younger audience, but the reality of it is who's buying the stuff and who's playing it. So we have the numbers. I don't have the exact numbers, but that's what I'm seeing as a result. There's all these older people. Well, then you get all these people interested from these commercials, like the same kid who goes out and buys his toy version of a championship belt is going to see that advertisement for Dice Masters, going to look at mom and dad go, yeah, sure, we'll buy it. They have to go down to their local game store to buy it, or they can order it online. But more than likely, they'll go down to the local game store, start asking questions. Guess what? That's an uptick in community activity. Then you have a golden opportunity to say, just like you do with the Pokemon TCG, just like you do with Magic, you have a golden opportunity at your local game store to say, yeah, we have a group that plays here every Wednesday or Saturday. Why don't you go ahead and bring your kid by? You guys can sit in. We'll teach them to do a game or two. Okay, cool. And then while you're at it, here's what we do. Here's what we're about.
Hmm. And I think when WWE comes out, I think it'd be a good opportunity for everyone to do as many open houses at your local game store as you possibly can. Introduce people to the game. So,
And then the one thing I'm looking forward to out of it is I finally am gonna get my match against Chris of MOD. You know, so I heard that there were some updates on solicits. Did we actually get dates on the solicits finally, or no?
Still don't have a date.
Okay.
We do not have a date. We have.
So Chris gets another stay of execution. All right.
I mean, he keeps telling him to push it back. So, I mean, he's running.
So speaking of open houses, ours was moderately a success. And it was poor planning on my part. I did the post about the event 2 weeks ahead of its start time, even though I had already been planning this for a month and a half with several people in our local community. But out of that, we did gain Davis, and we also gained somebody else who Nate had taught. So welcome to the community, Davis. I'm glad you bought some product. We'll be happy to set up some casual league nights. More than happy to do so at Boardwalks. That was the purpose of having the open house. And so Davis actually brings up a really good point to this expanding IPs is, and this is specifically for the audience, and you guys have been sounding off in the chat, and we appreciate that. If there was a new IP, what would that do for your local community? I want to hear from everybody in the comments. It doesn't have to be right now. We just want to hear different points of view. You know, and we're not even talking in the reference of WWE. We're talking about just anything, right? So recently there was Warhammer. How many people showed up to your game night, to your local league night? How many people wanted to start playing after an absence? We want to know those. We want to know those things.
Yeah.
David, specifically, what is your after buying the Infinity packs? How do you feel about the game? And after learning a little bit from me, you know, what are things that you like and what are things that you want to see going forward?
Well, and while we're waiting on him to respond in there, you know, talking about local community events and whatnot, DM Armada and myself have been working on the next in the draft series of the DM Armada draft series, and it looks like it will be the. Pull up my calendar so I'm remembering the correct date here.
Your handy dandy calendar.
August 25th at Doc's Comics and Games in Frisco, we will be doing a TOA draft, and it will be also a cold run of the streaming setup that will be used at Worlds. So that's where we're going to be testing everything out and whatnot. So even if you're not in the local area, be on the lookout for announcements on that stream. So we want to get as much feedback as possible from that in that regard. TOA draft, and there potentially will be some for those of us that are going to Worlds and competing in Worlds. Potentially can get some play testing in there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was planning on it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there while the chat was catching up and typing their responses and whatnot. And also along those lines, I'm not sure how many noticed, but on the match between our own Journey Vega and Rob, we tested out a new overlay. And so again, any feedback on that? I know we got some comments about the colors that were used, and anything you can get us back on that one. I personally have not personally spoken with him. I know Steven has, and we are taking some notes from his setup and doing what we can. But again, Steven has a vision as well that we're trying to put out there. So
Okay, going back to the listeners' responses, we've already gotten one from Bodie. Yeah, it's unfortunate whenever we get the circumstances that we had 2 years ago where there was a product drought, and that drought was long enough for local scenes that were kind of already fracturing to really just fall apart completely. And other things like the modern rotation happening so fast. Yeah, this is 2.5 years ago when they announced the modern rotation was just a hard cut. And like you guys said, all the sets that people had or were drafting at that time were then made obsolete. So we ran into this weird situation as patrons of this game to where it's just like you had to adapt or get out of the game. And that's just a really rough spot to be for people who are, entrenched and dedicated. They're enfranchised. This is a really hard spot to be whenever when your own like intellectual property comes back and says, adapt or get out.
well, and one of the other biggest issues, speaking from a TO at a store that has had a group that at our low point was down to 3 players, and at our large point was up to 18 players every week. One of the biggest issues we've always run into is competing with the top three: Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, MTG. Those guys have dedicated days and times that they play. Specifically, we're talking Friday Night Magic. A lot of our other players would love to play at the game store on Friday night, but no game store was giving us a time or day on a Friday night to let us play because they were giving it to the Magic players. Saturday during the early day, they were giving it to the Pokemon players. Saturday afternoons they're giving it to the Yu-Gi-Oh players. It's been a struggle to show to the store what value we're bringing to them to let us get some of that valuable real estate on those prime days. We've been I hate using the word relegated to weeknights. Our regular night at Docs is Thursday nights. Not everyone can make it out on Thursday nights. They've got work, they've got families, and doing that on in the middle of the week is not easy. And so we're having to incentivize players to come out. We're having to show to the stores that there's an interest to give us a better time slot than those to hopefully bring in more.
Yeah.
So that's been my biggest struggle from a TO point to get more people in, is actually showing to the stores what value we bring so we can get one of those better time slots.
At my store, it's the biggest HeroClix store, period.
In the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot. I've tried so many times to get a Dice Masters community going, but they had a WKO there. 4 people showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, and it had mostly to do with a legacy event going on, but it's in Fort Worth, and if you know anything about the DFW area, Dallas is an hour away from anywhere. Period.
Right.
Anywhere you live. And so it's really hard for people to come out here. So the only thing that really is big at my store is HeroClix, of course, Magic the Gathering, and some Pokemon, and that's it. So we can't get a Dice Masters community going. I've tried.
I've worked with you trying to do that, and it's just unfortunately there's part of the issue within the DFW Metroplex that you pointed out. It's such a large area, and there's so many stores that no one really wants to make a 40-minute drive or 50-minute drive to another store, when their local store is 15 minutes away. And so it's initially in the golden days of Dice Masters, you picked a night of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. There was a store that had an event going on. It was great, but unfortunately it fractured our community here in the Metroplex, to where, as the attendance at those started dropping, the stores started cutting nights off. that now you had players who enjoyed the game, but they could only play on Wednesday nights and they couldn't make it out on Thursday nights to this other store because that's just too far away. And it really just killed us in the DFW Metroplex having so many stores playing it at the same time. But it was also great. You could literally pick a night of the week if you were willing to drive and go and play.
So one thing that I've noticed, so this is for our international viewers, listeners. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate your likes and all your subscriptions. Keep it up. One thing that I noticed that they do is they're really good about taking it to restaurants or local hangouts, or even their houses or their garages, wherever they are. Um, so we want to give a huge shout out to them, specifically the group that plays at a cafe in Portugal. Those guys are awesome, and they're doing their best to maintain the community outside of an LGS, which is very hard to do. But yet they still get consistent numbers. They still get 12 people to 16 people every week, and so it's about thriving in your community. And a lot of times, in order to do that, you have to take it beyond the LGS. You have to shoulder a lot of that burden.
All right. Well, and I've got a couple of store owners, friends of mine that have stores and whatnot that I'm been chatting with to see if we can come up with something like that here in the Metroplex. And I know there's a couple of members of our community who have opened their house up on some nights of the week and whatnot for games and whatnot. So I'm somewhat leery of having happened what happened back in the golden days of we have 7 different venues that you can play at no matter where what day, starting to fracture our player base here in the Metroplex again. But I the fact that we could support that many venues is great to begin with. I just wish we could, except on rare occasions, get those people to play together more often.
But you don't want to spread yourself too thin, because then you'll have exactly what we had happen to us a year ago. Was we spread ourselves too thin? We had people going to play in Richardson. We had people going to play in Frisco. We had people going to play in Lake Worth. While that was great, some of those same people were having to go 45 minutes, an hour and a half, 30 minutes.
I'm one of those people. I have a local game store, and they were running a Dice Master event for a very short period of time, and I showed up to a couple of them. It was a fiasco, and I ended up going driving the 45 minutes to an hour out to Frisco to go to the events out there. And it had been such a mainstay out there that they handed those over to me. But again, I would also drive the 30-40 minutes to the Duncanville store, where Rob played. That's how I met Rob.
Unfortunately, you met Rob there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's all been downhill ever since.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think the DFW scene kind of got screwed by having so many places that wanted to do it.
Right. We had a very unique scenario that a lot of other areas did not have. A lot of places we see the post on Facebook. Hey, I'm in such and such area. I can't find a single store that plays it, and it's one of those, you make a post in the DFW Dice Masters. It's one of those. Hey, I want to play. We're like, we're all clamoring. Oh, come out here on this day. Oh no, you come out here on this day. Oh no, come over here on this day. We're all vying for that new fresh blood. Chum in the waters.
Let's get into some real talk here. Robert brought up
boys.
Yes.
Oh man, always the distractor. We were having a good conversation too.
I mean, we're both basically just talking about our local scene is terrible. We need more people to play online with, play it locally with us. That's it. That's all we were saying.
I will say, ending this thought. If you ever feel like you're stretching thin, if you're in that situation where you have one community and you go to another community in the same week, really centralize it. If you have to, play with the same 6 people, and then every once in a while, like every month or month and a half, you get everybody together, or you just go to that other scene. Mm-hmm. You say, hey, I'm doing my monthly visit, or I'm doing my bi-weekly visit, whatever you want to do to maintain healthy community standards, because the last thing you need to do is put too much in that you get in over your head.
and you don't want to
And
alienate people.
on that note, one of the things we have a city of Tyler, which is about an hour and a half away from the Metroplex, that actually has a fairly thriving community over there. And occasionally, when we run tournaments, one or a couple of those guys will come out for those big tournaments, whatnot. I would like to propose that we try to make it out to one of their events one month and coordinate it with them. Maybe do it on a weekend or something like that to make it easier for us to make that event out there. So and again, I'm thinking like a CRGR takeover type thing. We come in and wreck face and whatnot. So
Let's calm down with that. CRGR visits. How about that? Oh man, Bucky, you ruined Bucky's, Robert. I'm tired of that.
Bucky's is 15 minutes from my house. It's no big deal, man.
You poor sheltered soul, Robert.
So yeah, I didn't mean to. You guys can go on your boys' tangent.
No.
The boy. Also, I watched Good Omens.
That is a good.
Yeah, really good pacing, really good acting. I really liked it. Can't wait for the no. I don't think there's any way to do another season. There's no way.
Producer said, or the director, or the producer was just like the creator. I think the creator of the show was just like, we're not going to do it again.
No,
because I think there's only enough material for one series.
Well, I mean, they did the one book. There's only the one book. They did it, and there's nothing else written. There's nothing else that exists.
So it was the writer who said it. He was like, I'm not.
Well, I mean, if I remember correctly, the main writer, Terry Pratchett, is no longer with us. But it was also Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
And Neil Gaiman is not interested in writing more in that because Terry's not there with him.
Yeah.
So he's not creating anything new out of that. And so
I don't think Amazon wants to take that risk like they've done with other shows.
Well, Game of Thrones was a whole different issue, Joycelyn, because they had the backing of George R.R. Martin on all of it.
And he gave them cliff notes of what was supposed to happen.
They fucked it up on their own.
This is how it's going to go, but I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to get there.
Yeah, so they had to make those leaps in those character arcs, and it was just like, if you would have had some time to flesh it out and pace it with the books, it would have made a lot more sense. There, the sudden character changes, but it did seem really sudden. Whenever 5 episodes later, they're straight up murdering folk, and you're just like, oh, okay.
And have you guys watched The Boys?
I actually just finished it for lunch today.
Oh,
it's on my docket to binge this weekend.
So good. It's so good.
The birth scene will give you scars.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen 5 of them.
No.
There's
as far as on TV, it's
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's probably one of the best superhero movie shows I've seen in a long time, and you think that the superheroes would probably be like that.
In a very real world scenario. They tried to do the same thing with Watchmen, but I just think it was too hyper stylized.
Yeah. And the way that they deal with the one superhero in the middle episodes, or was it the second or third episode? How they
Translucent?
Yeah, how they dealt with Translucent. So good.
Oh, yes. There's something I could say on that one, but since Joe hasn't said it, I'm not going to say it. We'll discuss it after Joe watches the episode.
He's already seen it. He's watched the 5th episode.
Have you watched Joe?
I have read the comics.
Oh, you've read the comics. Okay.
So I haven't seen the show. Took a couple of liberties because the comics, like, you can talk about birth scene. The comics goes like.
No. From what I've heard, the comic goes much deeper than the show will ever go, just because they've got to air it on TV.
And he didn't. So the creator specifically did it for 2 things: shock value and to put like a realism to it. Like, yes, this is very much how people would act in that position, because we have real world examples of people doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
In everyday life.
So no spoilers, but no. Translucent is an interesting one.
Yeah, I just want to see how they, get creative with it. I'm a big fan of Keith Urban. I'm a huge fan of not Keith. Is that his name?
The guy
so.
that played
Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Billy Butcher. So we'll see. Like, I want to see how he does it because I like his acting, and other things. So I'm really looking forward to how he portrays this character because in the comic books, like, you had no sympathy for him, at all. And so it's just like I'm wondering how they're gonna play his character in the series.
You have a little sympathy for him in the middle of the series, but then it's washed away fairly quickly.
He shits on his own sympathy.
Yeah.
Carl Urban. I'm sorry, not Keith Urban.
Carl. Keith Urban's a country music singer.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I knew I was saying something wrong. Carl
Mr. Nicole Kidman. So how about everyone do this? We'll do spoiler, like, we'll talk about spoilers for the show next week. Give people time to watch it. Next week we're gonna spoil the hell out of it because we just let you guys know that we're gonna talk about it. So that includes you, Joe.
Like I said, I've already read the comics, so there's really nothing you can tell me that wouldn't be like, oh, okay, that's cool.
All right, Snape killed Dumbledore. Didn't
it.
see that one coming, did you?
Always got to be one of them.
Yeah.
Did they do the 9/11 scene in the series or no?
No.
Okay. See, that's what I'm kind
of.
of.
They did that because the comic book came out much closer to 9/11. That they wanted it to be more shown in present day, and so they didn't give you a whole lot of background in history of how the world has gotten to this point.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of drop you in the world now, and you're discovering with the characters,
okay,
things that are going on.
That makes sense, but I just think that we as people who have survived that, I mean, I don't want to say it, but like when you look at Japan's example, you look at Godzilla. Like, that's how they treated the atrocities of the atomic bomb. We're still treading lightly over 9/11, going so far as to remove it from all media. And I just think that there's a certain point where our zeal for that is going to turn us into fanatics. And
I don't see it as they were removing it to to have kids' gloves on.
Yeah.
I truly think that they removed it. They didn't reference it just because it would made the story harder to tell, to connect it.
And a younger generation.
Right. It's just, well, not just even a younger generation, but just to connect it and keep the world fresh and, pacing for the story to the audience who has not read the comic book.
Yeah.
I've not read the comic book. There's nothing there for me to miss.
Well, just like the show, it's very much a product of its time. So, of course, they're going to do all those hot button topics, and he's going to go all in for the shock value.
And plus, nothing says a whole lot of terrible writing is, well, we would have told you this before, but now we're going to do a flashback for it. Okay, now the regular story. Now we're going to do another flashback. They did a few flashbacks, but not much. They did more of character development in the now, and they did very little flashbacks, and that's what I liked about it because they developed the characters live.
From what I've heard, the plane scene does a really good job of conveying what the 9/11 scene in the comic books was supposed to convey.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So that's fair enough.
It's honestly a rough scene to watch.
Yeah. No, it very much.
A lot of, like,
conveys,
the Me Too scene is very rough to watch too.
Yeah. But all right, so watch it, everyone.
Well, we've been on a little over an hour now, so
yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. So if you want to check out tournament information, check out our Patreon, check out the one-day tournament that Joe's going to be putting on and we're going to be supporting him, go to CRGR Rocks. Check that out. You can go to our Discord, get connected through there. And if you want to keep up with us anywhere, you can go to Facebook also. So that'll do it for us here. And you guys have a wonderful rest of the night or day or whatever,